Hey, it's Rich back with you for another video. We have a 2018 Citation M2. It's a really nice airplane, one owner, low time, all the good stuff on it. I've flown this airplane a lot over the last 5 years. Looking forward to taking you up and show you the airplane.
System test okay.
That's all I've got. Let me do the sectors, not current wind 30013, altimeter 2989.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Kilo Mike's ready, 30.
Got a 9 kilo Mike.
Okay, so we're ready for takeoff, 30 at Long Beach. Takeoff brief is 30, it's VFR, it's a VFR departure. We're gonna climb to 1500, they'll make a left turn to 180. And anything below V1, we're gonna stop.
Number 587 for now, check your base.
Got plenty of runway, anything after V1, we'll climb up to a safe altitude. I got 3,000 in the altitude selector, so I'll just use that. We'll just clump back around here and do a VFR landing, depending on what we got. So that's pretty much my takeoff brief.
November 9 kilo Mike, wind is 3015, runway 30 clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 30689 kilo Mike. Alright, takeoff power set. Airspeed's alive. Engine instruments are green. Cross check. E1, rotate. Gears up. Laps are up. Climb power. Yaw damper. Fetch.
Traffic, 1 o'clock, low, less than 1 mile.
Autopilot's on.
Number 9 kilo Mike, connect to the bridge, see ya.
See ya, 9 kilo Mike. 689 kilo Mike's and then turn to 180 out of 2 for 3,000.
November 689 kilo Mike, so departure, ident, and where are you headed?
There's your ident. We're heading out over at Catalina, request 14.5 for some maneuvering and then back to Long Beach.
November 9 kilo Mike, roger, VFR climb approved to 7,000.
7,000, 9 kilo Mike.
November 9 kilo Mike, radar contact 2 miles west of Long Beach Airport.
Thank you. Any chance for a Bravo clearance or want us to stay below?
November 9 kilo Mike, switch to Bravo airspace in the climb to 7,000 and just remain on the heading 180.
180, clear to the Bravo, 7,000 kilo.
All right, climbing off of Long Beach. That was a VFR departure because we're just taking off and going back. So VFR departure, you have 5,000 foot Bravo airspace above us, and that can be tricky because we're so used to flying jets IFR, and if you take out VFR and you don't get a Bravo clearance, then you can get a phone number. So we got the Bravo clearance to climb. We're gonna go out over Catalina and do a few orbits. Check this airplane out. This one's for sale. As I mentioned in the intro, it's a 2018 M2, serial number 1005. It's got kind of an interesting story. The family business who bought this airplane brand new, the owner had flown in the past in a King Air, got out of flying for about 10 years to spend some time with the family, and wanted to get back into it, and bought a brand new M2, and I got connected with him just as kind of a contract pilot to start, get him going. And we flew a few times together and got along well, and I ended up flying with him for about 4 years. And the really cool part of the story is the son wasn't a pilot when I met him. He got his private through me, he got his instrument, multi-engine rating, he got his type rating at Flight Safety, single pilot type rating in the 525 and the M2. Him and his dad now are flying as a crew. I got fired when the son came on board as a crew, but it was a nice way to lose a job, even though I miss flying with them. But they're flying as a crew now, father, son, and a new M2, and we're selling this one. And so this airplane has 620 hours on it. I probably flew as a crew in this airplane. They like the M2 so much, and this airplane works really, really well for what they do. They have a lot of locations on the West Coast, up and down the West Coast, to visit. They've used the airplane 100%, really, I can say, for business, and it's like the perfect fit for them. It's got good speed capability. It's mostly just the two of them, and occasionally they take a passenger. I think, you like to hear these stories of people who buy these airplanes and they really pay for themselves. The advantages of business and being able to be at different places quickly without the airlines and be home for dinner, or make a 3-day trip. And I got to witness that firsthand flying with them over those 4 years, and it was pretty remarkable to see the utility of an airplane like this, and then to hear them say how effective it's been at growing the business, making the business more efficient. And I think a lot of times that gets talked about, and maybe people think, that's just people justifying airplanes, but I see it a lot. I have firsthand knowledge of people getting these airplanes and utilizing them to really be productive and grow their businesses. So, and this is no exception, this particular airplane. So all these M2s are pretty, especially the domestic airplanes, are pretty similar. They have G3000, they have synthetic vision, traffic, active traffic, XM, ADS-B in and out. Just really solid avionics packages, dual touchscreen controllers. 395 knots to 400 knots, true airspeed, 41,000 feet. Nice pressurized cabin, comfortable, very reliable and efficient on the fuel.
9 kilo mic traffic, no factor.
9 kilo mic, thank you.
And so, this airplane's the 525 has been around for a while, and this M2 is the latest revision to it, and you can see how it's the beneficiary of all those years in the earlier 525s, and just keeps getting improved more and more and more, and refined, and essentially the same airplanes. I was talking to one of the Cessna guys. I think they're around 6.2 list price now, and Q4 24 for next available. And I think Cessna typically delivers about 50 of these a year, something like that. Not exactly, but somewhere in that neighborhood. The competitors, the Honda Jet, Phenom 100,
and used, used airplanes compete with the new ones, but the demand for the new ones has been pretty strong. Really popular airplanes, and you can see why when you fly them. Like, it's just a solid airplane in pretty much every respect. And we've maintained quite a few of these airplanes, M2s, and the maintenance on them is really good. And we have a couple guys that have come out of TBMs. This isn't necessarily a criticism of TBMs, but a lot of people think that going to a twin jet is going to be a lot more expensive to maintain it. And our experience with people who had first-hand experience with both airplanes say, it's not much more expensive to maintain. You burn more fuel, certainly, and so your cost of operation is probably higher with two engines and engine programs and burning more fuel, but there are some advantages to that. And the acquisition price really is not a lot more. So we really like these M2s. I like flying them. Can't think of any customers that I have that have bought an M2 and said, I just don't like the airplane. So the M2s, people have asked us to show more of the interior. These M2s have a club seating configuration. The side-facing seat right behind the co-pilot is belted. And then in the back with the lab, you have a belted seat as well. So you could have 6 passengers, 2 up front, so that's 8. It'd be pretty tight, but it's doable. And depending on the mission, you got the capability to carry the people in that load. So Mateo's in the back. We only got one guy, but you can kind of get the size picture from him. Yeah, the guys that own this airplane, father and son, are 6'4" and 6'5". And one interesting thing about this airplane that I forgot to mention, I honestly don't think there's ever been ice in the ice chest here. And I can count on one hand the number of times that there was ever any food in this airplane. We just didn't eat, or yeah, we had a bottle of water or a cup of coffee, but we never put ice in the ice chest. And literally, I don't think there was never any meals served in this airplane. It was just because we were always flying like 2 hours, and we'd have breakfast and we'd be out, we'd land, and then we'd leave at 5 p.m. We already had dinner, and we'd be back in time for dinner. So it's not like we ever. So that's a nice thing that I would challenge any M2 on the market. I guarantee it's never. It wouldn't hold a candle to this one in terms of crumbs or any food or ice or anything spilled. This airplane we just didn't eat in it. And like I said, it's got 620 hours. I probably flew 500 of those hours with them. In the last 100 hours, it's really just been the 2 owners. And the first 500, we flew 2 people up front and sat in the back. So it's cool. It was a really cool experience for me to get to see somebody get back into aviation, get a type rating, and then Matt, the son, get his private, get his instrument, get his multi-engine, and go for a M2 525 type rating at flight safety, and pretty much sail through it. And now what they really wanted to do when they got with me 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was to fly as a crew, father son, and now they got 100 hours under their belt. It's pretty cool to see, and they became great friends. Good experience all the way around. That's what airplanes do. My life have brought a lot of really interesting people into my life. All right, let's dial up an approach, and we'll descend down and shoot an RNAV approach back into Long Beach.
Left turn 180 for 9 kilo Mike.
Kilo Mike traffic just off to your left about 10 o'clock and 4 miles, turning northeast bound 8,000, descending to Citation 550. I'm going to have you turn around and follow that traffic here in just a moment.
Sounds good. We'll be looking at 9 kilo Mike.
Thanks. United 215, LA centers on 32.
Okay, so RNAV GPS Zulu, runway 30, that's what I want. I'm going to do it via, I think they pronounce that ESCAL. And I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And what's really nice about this approach to demonstrate is you have VNAV stacked on top of a glide path, and you can VNAV down to the altitudes and hit a couple of them and VNAV, and then watch the FMS transition to the approach and the glide path segment. So I got that all loaded in there, and it's given me some, because we're flying away from the course right now is really the message. So there's 060. I got the power pulled way back. We're just kind of orbiting over the island here. So I got the lights on for the descent. Pressurization is looking good. I don't need any de-ice equipment. Got the approach loaded and activated. So I'm just gonna, to reconfigure this, to get it right, I'm just gonna go direct to SCAL. That'll help get rid of some of this stuff. I did not set the minimum, so I'm gonna go into utilities, minimums. 260. So everything's set up for the approach.
Citation 689 kilomiles descending out of 6500. For 4500, we got a sub 37 off our left in sight. Requesting SCAL for a practice RNAV 30.
That was a mouthful.
Number 689 kilomiles is held. First have your request verify use information. Victor and descend to 4000.
We have Victor descending to 4000, 9 kilomiles.
So these airplanes are actually, in-airplane type ratings are pretty, I mean, they're challenging, but it's such a good, stable airplane with great avionics. If you're instrument proficient, you know, you can do, you get a lot done in this airplane in terms of a type rating. And then for insurance purposes, you know, they typically are going to want some simulator training, so you could go to a flight safety recurrent 3 days and satisfy the in-simulator part of the training that way. If you didn't want to spend 2 weeks at flight safety. I just came back from flight safety on a Mustang recurrent, and what great training you get at flight safety. They really have great instructors, great equipment, great facility, and I've probably done, I don't know how many training sessions at flight safety, but every time I go there, it's a really positive experience. Always learn something, always meet. I had a great sim partner this time, and it's just a really good experience. So doing a type rating in the airplane is definitely not to take away from the advantage going to flight safety. It's just a lot of our customers maybe can't spend 2 full weeks there to do a type rating. And so they'll do the type rating with us and then go there for 3 days, and it works out pretty well for the insurance companies. And we don't really feel like you're getting shortchanged on anything. So I got the power pulled way back. I'm hoping to get direct to SCAL here. And if you look at the altitudes, there's a top of descent at SCAL that's going to go down and hit Lucig at 3, and then Gunny, the final approach fix at 1600. And I'm hoping she clears us to the to SCAL and for the practice approach, so we can show you how this descent works.
November 9er Kilo Mike, maintain VFR turn left heading 020, descend and maintain 3000.
020 down to 3000, 9 kilo Mike.
Well, it doesn't look like we're gonna work on a VNAV full approach here. I need to get some sunglasses that have readers, non-polarized readers that are, you know, that I can just keep on all the time. I meant to do that at Oshkosh and never got around to it. Goes flaps approach, coming up on.
November 9er Kilo Mike, 6 miles from Gunny, turn left heading 320, maintain VFR practice approach cruise separation services provided.
320 on the heading, 2000, cleared for the practice RNAV 30, 9 kilo Mike.
So one thing I did do was I didn't get my speeds, so let's put the speeds up, landing data.
27.2.
Our ref speed is 98. And she cleared us for the practice approach, so I'm gonna hit the approach button. Double check that on the scoreboard there. I got the runway in sight. Speed looks pretty good, flaps are approach, so I'm just waiting now for a mile or 1 dot. I'll put the gear down, and then over the final approach fix, I'll put flaps land, landing light on. I was flying with a guy in the Twin Star today who's thinking about, you know, buying a jet, And once, you know, the training and the pathway to get current in a jet, you know, it's a lot of training and it's a lot of, takes a lot of work to get there. But once you get there, it's really the easiest flying in the system that, in my opinion, that you do is flying a jet IFR. There's one dot, gear goes down. 3 green. Power's set pretty much for what we want. We got a slow below 161 for the landing flaps. 300 to gunny. Speed checks.
Tower 9 Kilo Mike for 30 full stop.
Number 689 Kilo Mike, Long Beach Tower, like 30, clear to land.
Clear to land, 309 Kilo Mike. Okay.
There's the final approach fix, so flaps, speed checks below 161. Landing flaps are out, and they're indicated. And now with the power the way I got it, we should start rolling back to be at ref right at the end of the runway. Hopefully I don't have to touch the power. Maybe just need it a little bit. I got it pulled back a little bit too far. Right about there, probably will do it. And these 525s have, well, not the CJ4. CJs up through the 3+ have ground flaps, so once you touch down, you go to 60 degrees of flaps. That puts the flaps at 60 degrees and pops the speed brakes.
Mike traffic heading to your left, eastbound, Cherokee 1000.
Inside 9 Kilo Mike.
Direction Cessna.
Inside.
That helps slow you down. So you got really good short field performance. Really all the citations.
3 Whiskey Mike, left turn approved, frequency change approved.
500.
Gears down. 3 green lights.
3 Whiskey Mike, frequency change approved.
And speed's coming in. I haven't touched the throttle since I made that last correction right about final approach fix. And I'm going to come off the glide slope at minimums, and my aim point's going to be more like the end of the runway, not so much the 1,000-foot markers, so I can get off it. There's the autopilot off. I'm going to bring power back.
Minimum.
And I'm going to go below the glide slope because I'm aiming for the numbers.
Number 900 Sierra, left turn back to the downwind, but follow the traffic off your left at 900.
I haven't touched the power. There's ref, about 50 feet.
Thank you.
And I floated just a little bit past the numbers. There's the landing, ground flaps. And I would call this like, I don't know, normal braking.
Cross 26 left, Juliet 2, Foxtrot's parking, 9 Kilo Mike.
Here we get across 26 left, and again, 2018 M2, 600, a little less than 620 hours, fully funded engine programs. It's been on pro parts, good maintenance, always hangared. You know, I can attest to at least 500 hours in this airplane, so I know it's been treated well, and it's ready to, you know, ready for delivery. It doesn't need anything. All the maintenance is caught up. It has a temporary tail number on it, which is 689 Kilo Mike. We'll paint that on if that's what you want, if that's what whoever buys it wants, or you could get your own tail number, you know, and get it painted on as part of the deal. And we're asking 4695, but considering offers. And so give us a call, give me a call if you have any questions. You can see this airplane on our website. It's based here in Long Beach in our hangar, so come out and check it out. We'll take it for a demo flight. Thanks for watching.